LMGs, a core tenet of the firearm world. Whether you want to suppress the enemy and not allow them to sling lead at you, or you want to be able to sling as much lead in one direction or in many directions as you possibly can, there's an LMG for you. Now, whether you want to have it on the go, whether you want to have it mounted to something, which would make it an MMG or a mounted machine gun instead of a light machine gun, regardless, LMGs are pretty hot, if you ask me. And honestly, it's one of the platforms that I myself do not dabble in very frequently. If anything, I've only recently acquired my first true LMG, and I'm yet to even feature it on the channel outside of little snippets and things here and there. But we're going to change that today. And more importantly, as you guys have seen in the title, description, and thumbnail, we're going to be doing a little bit more with LMGs than just talking about one that's a staple in the class. Welcome to Wolfston. My name is Wolf, and if you are new here, I'm very happy to have you. And if you're returning, well, you kind of know what you're in for if you saw last week's, well, not last week's, but the last video that I did of this type. The last time you saw me sitting like this with my desk next to me and the camera here, I did a little bit of a rant. I did something a little different, and we're going to be continuing that trend today. But instead of talking about something from Modern Warfare 2, we're going to talk about something from Modern Warfare 3. And it begins here with our wonderful 249. Now, as I mentioned, the 249 has not gotten a lot of love on the channel. We're going to be fixing that today, but the core, the crux of our video today is to make another replica, an LMG. Now, if you think back to Modern Warfare 3, the original from 2011, which for some of you, that's either ancient history, depending on how old you are, or that was the prime time of childhood if you're my age. And there was a game, Modern Warfare 3, that I quite enjoyed. In fact, that was where I got my start in the shooter platform, playing Modern Warfare 3 Survival with my dad. And much like other games that I played during that time when I was, a youngin', a young lad, playing games for the first time, experiencing the world of firearms vicariously through video games, like Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2, of course, when I finally ventured backwards in time, by 2 years, to play that masterpiece, I found that there was a few things that I enjoyed. Number one was the ACR. Top of the list, way up there, the ACR was goated. Loved that in every game that I ever came up in. Number two, boobs. Which is not related to what we're talking about today, but I found that out pretty quick as well. A lot of boobs in video games, and I was all for it. Even at, 12. Anyway, number three on that list, there were a lot of other guns besides the ACR that I just kind of thought were neat. Obviously, 249 was one of them. Granted, I didn't understand the difference between 249, Mark 46, Mark 48. The 240, even in my brain as a kid, was very much another variant of the 249. Obviously, now that I'm older, I understand 240 and the 249 are not the same thing, and saying that they are will get me banned from the firearm circles, so I'm not going to do that. There was another LMG, specifically from Modern Warfare 3, that I quite enjoyed, and in the world of Airsoft, it doesn't really come up very often. Granted, I could be wrong here, or I could simply just have a very narrow experience when it comes to LMGs, which I'm willing to admit. You guys let me know in the comments here in just a moment, but an LMG, well, granted, there's a lot of LMGs that I don't see out in the wild. Most of them are the 249 or variants similar to it, is one that is also rather rare in the firearm world. After doing a little bit of research, a little bit of digging into it, it's a little bit wishy-washy on whether or not this thing actually existed, or if it was just a prototype weapon that saw a little bit of service, quote-unquote, in testings and things like that. From doing a little bit more digging, I have found that it is seeing limited use, or it did see limited use, over in Europe, and that is the MG36. Some of you might hear that and have no idea what I'm talking about, or you might hear that and think of another platform that is definitely related, but you're kind of like, how does that fit into an LMG category? And the platform you're probably thinking of, the G36, or in this case, the G36C. Now, depending on how long you've been on the channel, you will know this was my first replica. My first big boy replica, I should say. I'd used like springers and things like that before, but this was my first AEG, or in this case, an LP AEG, aka a low-powered AEG, meaning it doesn't shoot very hard, not very fast, it's not super competitive, but when I was first getting into Airsoft, this was a cheap option. I really liked the G36 as a platform, so I got one. And today, as you can probably guess, we're going to be taking my original LP AEG G36C, and we're going to be trying to make an MG36 out of it in a sort of sleeper build fashion. First things first, let's talk about what the MG36 is. In the firearm world, the MG36 is an upscaled, upscaled. It's the same size relatively, but upscaled in that it has a heavier barrel, some slight modifications for longer rates of fire and more sustained rates of fire on the original G36 or G36K. Is there a difference? I don't know if there's a difference. I'm guessing there isn't. I think the K and the G36 are the same thing. I don't know. Someone in the comments correct me. Anyway, the point I'm making is that the MG36 is a long-barreled G36. It's got a longer barrel with a handguard that supports a bipod on the bottom and some other additions internally that make it different from just a standard G36. Obviously, the G36C is a short boy. He's a small guy. So already we're deviating from what a true MG36 should be. But we're going to be keeping it in its true form of the short boy and making a little sleeper LMG out of it, or at least trying to do so. At the very least, I would like to make a sleeper build out of this. If it doesn't turn into a G36 LMG or an MG36, that's fine. Bare minimum. I want to make a sleeper build out of this. To do that, we have to do a few things. Number one, this does actually have, I've done a little bit of looking on the inside here, we actually have a standard, I think it's a standard G36 gearbox in here, but it's plastic. It's like those old school TM gearboxes for all my tech nerds out there. You know how they've got those plastic gearboxes in there. And this one, I don't know if you can really see it down there. If not, I can add another image a little closer. But it's got a plastic gearbox in there, and from what I can tell, it does, in fact, look like a newer G36 gearbox, which is promising. We're going to try to keep the original gearbox in just to see how it goes. But before we can actually do that, we need to do one other thing. And that is, we're going to be taking the parts from our 249 here and throwing them in here. Now, some of you might be asking, wait, Wolf, you said you're going to use the 249 on the channel. Why are you going to rip it apart and take all the parts out and put it into this if you're still going to use it? Don't worry, I hear you. We're going to be fixing this today in today's video before we get into this. So, first things first, we're going to put this off to the side. We need to get into this bad boy, upgrade him, that way we can harvest the parts from this gearbox to go into here. So, we have, well, what we have looks like something that you would buy from Heisenberg, except for the fact that it's white instead of blue.
Why are you blue?
But anyway, I digress. This is going to be going into our 249 here. I'll go ahead and open it up. God, now I know how my parents feel whenever I was a kid opening up my presents and they're just sitting there waiting for me to do something. You guys totally understand that unless I cut this section out. If I didn't, you're welcome. You get to watch me unbox my little goodie here. And you get to feel what my parents felt, or really anyone feels, when they have to watch someone else open up a present and just patiently wait for them to do whatever they're doing. Dear Lord, there's so many layers to this. Like an onion. A goddamn onion, Mason! Alright, so, here, we have a new gearbox. Now, this is an entire overhaul from ZCI. Not sponsored. I paid all this myself. I did not get this for free. Just letting you guys know. But this is an entire rehaul gearbox from ZCI. And that is going to be dropping into our 249 here. Not only are we going to be overhauling all the internals on the 249, starting with the gearbox, and then we'll work our way to everything else, but all the parts that are actually functioning in here, because there are some good parts inside this 249. The previous owner that I got this from, which is actually one of you guys, a subscriber to the Wolf Den community, which, by the way, if you're watching this, thank you very much. I truly appreciate it. He gave me not only the 249, but another gun that you guys haven't seen on the channel yet. I'm just working out a way on how to use it or how best to show it off in a video. But truly, thank you for doing that. I have outfitted it already with a little Picatinny rail for the scope cam. If anyone knows where I can get some handguard sections, I want to turn this into a Mark 46. But for the love of God, all the other 249 users who have been using 249s for the last decade in the airsoft space have gone through and like rats just eaten every single piece of furniture away for the 249. If you know where I can get a handguard set for this guy and possibly a buffer tube stock for this, I know that this needs to be replaced. The little knob here, that's how it came, was with that. Not dissing on the original owner. He did what he could with it. Obviously, he lost it at some point and just had to replace it with something easy. But I want to get a different stock and change out the handguard for the original Mark 46 Picatinny dual setup. If anyone knows where I can get one of those, let me know in the comments. Don't obviously link anything. YouTube gets a little iffy with leaving links if it's not the person who made the video. Plus, I just don't want people doing that maliciously, okay? Don't do that. Don't be that guy. If you're leaving links maliciously in people's comment section, get some help, okay? Let's be nice to people. Don't do that. Anyway, I'm rambling. I apologize. This is going to be a rambly video as well, like the heartbeat sensor, if you haven't picked that up. So, be warned. Outside of the aesthetics and the outside stuff, we're going to be replacing our entire gearbox. And all those parts, like I mentioned, are going to be coming out of there and into our G36. Because I figure those are all LMG components. They're designed for, sustained rates of fire, all that good stuff. So it'll be easy enough. Since I'm pulling this gearbox out to replace it anyway with a new one that's a little bit better, a little bit nicer, why not just take those components instead of just letting them sit and collect dust and put them into something else that can also be an LMG. So, first step, obviously, is going to be getting our gearbox out. I'm going to go ahead and pull that guy out. More or less, we're going to pull out that guy. We're going to undo all of our screws on the side, pull this guy out, and drop our new one in. So, I will be back in just a moment. We have gotten our old gearbox out, and I'll just show you guys quickly. Before I put it in, I want to show you guys the difference here. So you can see there's a little bit of refinement on the one from ZCI here. Unfortunately, it does, as I mentioned, does not have the connection, and I thought the fuse from this one would work, but it has two different plugs. This is a female and female. This one's a male and female, so I cannot use the previous adapter here. No big deal. I'll just find a new connection port and either connect it straight to Dean's or connect it straight to Tamiya, and then from Tamiya to Dean's, I've got adapters for that. It's not a big deal. The thing that I forgot to mention with this guy, just so everyone doesn't get on my case about just throwing it into your gearbox when this one works just fine, the wires on this one or the micro switch are fried. So when I try to fire this guy, push this little guy in, little clicker micro switch thing, it no go. It don't do anything. Initially when I got it, it did. I think I either messed it up or the connections just got fried from the batteries I was plugging into it, because it just, it's an old... This is an old 249. I don't know exactly when the previous owner got it, but it's an older model. So this one's been kicking around for a while, and the switch just gave out. And anytime that, obviously there's nothing connected to it now, but when I connected to a battery and tried to run it, pushing that in did nothing. So something electronically in here was not working as it should be. Getting this was just going to be easier. Again, since the 249 crowd, with their ravenous hunger, have bought literally every component I could possibly think of, I had to scavenge the internet to try to find this one alone, this gearbox. So, long story short, we have our old gearbox out. This one's going to go into the 249. I will get a plug for it for the next video with the 249. And we are going to scavenge all of the parts out of here that we can use. Already, I know that the microswitch is not going to be usable. Obviously, we're going from a 249 gearbox to the G36 gearbox, so it doesn't need it. The little nozzle here is going to get scavenged because that is a 249 specific nozzle. So if for whatever reason I don't like the nozzle that's in this one and I want to change it, I'll be going back to this one, the gold one. And the gears in this guy I know are iffy. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but there is a tooth missing from this gear. Now, a single tooth are debatably going to be a problem, but I have a new set of, I believe they're 16-to-1s back behind me. So instead of using these older gears that have a chip, or they have a vulnerability in them already, I'll just swap out for the 16 ones I have behind me. But everything else, the cylinder, so the cylinder's good. I know that from breaking this open before. The cylinder's good. The cylinder head, the piston head, the tappet plate, all of the compression stuff that's in here is good to go. The motor is also good. So it's a little 249 style motor. I don't know what kind of motor that's going to use, but if it uses the same one, I will also use this motor in that gearbox. But I think for now, this is going to be a good stopping point, at least for this part. Again, I could be wrong. I'll correct myself here in just a moment. You guys will be well aware of that, depending on the length of this video and how far we are into it. I think we've been going for a while. That's why I'm stopping it here, and then we'll continue in a part 2. But I'm going to go ahead and scavenge the parts that I mentioned, the compression parts out of here, and the 16 ones. And we are going to get into the G36 in the next part. I'll show you. I'll break it down. We'll see what we got working on in there, what's proprietary, what isn't, and then start replacing things with what's in our 249 gearbox, and start making ourselves an MG36 out of our 8-year-old LP AEG G36C. As we close off here, let me know what you guys think of this plan. If there's anything that I'm not thinking of that you think you should tell me in the comments, let me know of that. Also let me know, I guess we'll find out as we get along here with this, but I have other ideas for videos like this. As you may know, depending on how long you've been on the channel, I have another LP AEG, a low-powered AEG, that's a bit of a meme. A meme P7, if you will. And that, I think, would be pretty entertaining to turn into a sleeper build as well, but that's for another time. There's other LP AEGs that there's one in particular, there's another platform that I'm really intrigued to get for the channel, but the only variant they have of it here in the States, at least, is an LP AEG. So if this goes well, and I can convert this into an MG36 relatively easily, there's another platform that is not yet in the channel's repertoire whatsoever that I think would be really neat to get my hands on. But that's for another discussion, another video. For now, I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to scavenge the parts out of here like I mentioned, and I'll see you guys in part 2. If you enjoyed, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are. And, of course, if you haven't already, you've gotten this far into the video, be sure to subscribe to stay tuned for the next part, the next entry into the MG36 Sleeper Build saga. And, of course, if you'd like to support the channel further, you can head over to Wilton Apparel. Yeah, nice little plug. You notice that? I was wearing one of my shirts. Yeah, if you want one of these with the channel logo up here on the ditty, if you want, or not the ditty, the titty, sorry. If you want one up here on the titty, you can go to Wilton Apparel through the link in the description and in the pinned comment to get yourself a badass decal sticker or a comfy shirt. And, as always, this has been Wolf, and we'll see you guys next time I hit the field, or the table, as I mentioned during the heartbeat sensor video. Anyway, you guys have a good one. Bye!